Good morning, good night, good afternoon. How are they all good? Surely one of them's average to bad. You might find out. Well, I don't know about that with Jim Jefferies. Here I am, folks. You're sitting at home. This is your hour. Don't you do anything. You just sit back and enjoy yourself. Well, come to think of it, if this is one of your week's entertainment that you listen to this podcast, you've probably been through every TV show and everything to get to us. It's nice to have you, though. If you find my voice erotic, sit back and stroke your cock or flick your bean, because we're going to fucking give you a good show here today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm with Jack Hackett and Forrest Shaw, and we're doing the podcast.
Yeah, what's
Jack's got a spreadsheet up there. What are you spreadsheeting?
It's ads.
Oh, good.
Not this week. You're welcome, audience.
We got no ads this week. No one wants to advertise on this show. Fucking cunts. Why won't these cunts advertise with us? Fucking cunts.
Hey, if you have a business that needs advertising, come to us.
We're the cunts that you want to use. Use the promo code cunt.
Oh, but don't forget, our Judging a Book by Its Cover is sponsored by Books.com.
Books.com. Books.com. They have got some books.
We should check if there is
At
an
our
actual
website.
Books.com.
Let's,
guarantee
Of course there's a Books.com.
Yeah, do they sell books?
Let's see.
Yeah.
It's Barnes & Noble.
Barnes
they own
and
it.
Oh, you know it's Barnes. I take it back.
Yeah, they don't sponsor us.
We're we're Team Borders.
This week you're in Las Vegas at the Mirage.
Well, Viva Las Vegas. You come out to the show. Well, they're selling relatively well.
December 8th and 9th.
I'm out there. My brother's in town. I'm going to be all over. If you want to catch me at it's now the Hard Rock, or what used to be the Mirage.
Still called the Mirage.
It's still called the Mirage?
Yeah.
Ooh. So the Hard Rock is the Mirage.
Well, they're going to build the giant guitar and all that stuff out there, but for right now, it's the Mirage.
All right. Well, I'll be performing on top of the volcano or in the theater. Check both venues.
It's 8th and 9th. Still some tickets available, but I would assume it'll sell out. They always do.
Yeah.
Then you're off till next year, baby.
Well, Viva Las Vegas.
Then next year, Baltimore, Maryland, Boston, Sacramento, India, Las Vegas again, Des Moines, Kansas City,
Des Moines.
South Africa.
I'm going to be in South Africa. I'm going to do some big shows out there.
He's coming out.
I'm going to go. Now, I was not going to go until Oscar Pistorius came. And everyone's like, Oscar Pistorius, after you did the routine, he's going to kick your ass.
He's coming out.
And I thought, this is the thing.
Leave him some tickets.
No, this is the thing, right? Yeah. So he's meant to be on house arrest, but they can't put the ankle bracelet on.
They put it around his wrist.
I can't be the first person to think of that joke, surely, right? But they can't put the ankle bracelet on, so he just left it on one of the flippers, and they're like, oh, geez, he's depressed. He hasn't seemed to move all day.
Flippers.
Do you reckon when he gets on the flippers back up, do you reckon, because when you get out of prison, you're allowed to go to the Olympics?
He's got to have the casual flippers. Right?
No, but he's allowed to go to the Olympics again, right? Well, the Olympics don't go, oh, you're a criminal, you're not allowed to be in the Olympics.
I think you were convicted of murder, maybe they don't.
Ah, come on now.
I don't know.
You don't think there's one bloke with a starting gun who's done it by accident, held the wrong gun?
If you have a felony,
can
you compete in the Olympics? Let's see.
That's good. This is.
So other dates come out: North Charleston, Fort Lauderdale,
no provision
San
to bar an
Francisco.
athlete from competing because of a criminal record.
Bring back the Blade Runner.
Bring him back.
Because I need more jokes. I posted that routine the other day, and it's like my digital department. There's people who work digital for me, and they didn't think, we'll put the Oscar Pistorius.
When the news story came out.
When the news story came out. So I ring Jack up, and it's over Thanksgiving. I'm like, Oscar Pistorius, Jack, make sure you get Oscar Pistorius up.
Yeah.
There's been some people who are like very, they can't, that routine's quite extreme. Do you remember, like, back in the day, right, I did that routine, right? And then there was a newspaper in Ireland who had a vote whether I'd gone too far.
I don't remember that.
Did you go too far?
It was like Jim Jefferies' routine where he condones the death of a lady and all that type of stuff. Has he gone too far? And they had a vote, and I voted that I went too far because I wanted to be, like, way voted that I've gone too far. It was like a 50-50 split.
Damn.
So go to jimjeffries.com and hit tours, and you'll see all the tour dates there. And go to IDCAP Podcast on Instagram. Follow us on there. We had some merch before, and I think we're gonna get some new.
Get the
merch.
hats back. The hats are the killer.
We're gonna get some new merch. I'm working on it now. I'm working on getting us like a person to be.
What happened to the other merch? Did we sell out? We must have.
That was with the old company we worked with.
Oh, get some more.
No, we're working towards something new. I think we're gonna have some new designs and stuff.
I
like
like
that.
the hats though. The hats. Are very good,
We'll make
very
better
good.
hats.
Yeah. Also, you can go to my website, foreshot.net, see some upcoming dates. I'm going to be back in Vegas in January at the Comedy Cellar. I'm also going to be at the Sunshine Comedy Festival in St. Petersburg with Dave Williamson. We're going to be doing the Mermen podcast there live, so it'll be fun.
Morning star.
Here's the article, by the way. Oscar Pistorius sentencing comedian praises athlete for shooting during sick stand-up routine.
Yeah, you found it. Yeah, it's a thing.
I don't know if this is it. Yeah, described Blade Runner as his inspiration for killing the mob.
I'm very clearly joking. I mean, the opening is very extreme. I go, he's an inspiration to millions of people. Then he killed a good-looking woman, and that's when he became an inspiration to me.
Outspoken Jefferies, who has previously joked about Maddie McCann, 9/11, and the Holocaust, described Steenkamp's killing as, quote, a lesson to women. You read comedy in an article today. During the routine, he said, on Valentine's Day last year, Pistorius shot and killed the hottest girl on earth. That's when he became an inspiration to me.
If you watch the
When you read it,
routine-
it's really bad.
If you read it, it's bad.
Yeah.
If you watch it, I'm clearly joking. It's clearly tongue-in-cheek.
Jeffrey says, quote, because hot girls have been getting away with too much shit for too fucking
Well,
long.
that's not a joke. That's the truth.
Let that be a lesson to all you hot girls out there. You can't say whatever the fuck you want. People have feelings, you cunts. You really do need the delivery and
If you read my stuff, it's bad stuff.
I see a quote here that says, I got to be in this doco, right? I guess referring to being in the Oscar Pistorius documentary.
Oh, right. Is there... What?
You said that, I guess, on X.
They would. Oh, that's on Twitter. There was like some documentary about him being made, and I thought that routine's got to make it into the thing. Like, what do you reckon the chances of Oscar Pistorius? And if you want to see the Oscar Pistorius routine, it's one of the more recent photos in my Instagram right now. It's the reel there. You can go watch it there. But you got to think that Oscar's heard the routine.
Had to have.
Had to have.
Australian comedian Jim Jefferies does the unthinkable and runs with an Oscar Pistorius segment in his latest stand-up comedy set.
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Unthinkable.
And it was a decade ago, right? I did it a decade ago. Like he's been in prison.
Yeah, it was like 9 years.
Yeah, I did it 10 years ago, this routine.
Yeah.
And now people are writing to me shocked now, years later. I'm like, look, an Oscar, I would put that in my top 5 routines ever. I'm very proud of that routine.
Yeah.
The bit where he slides himself along the floor to get to the safe is as funny as I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I hadn't watched it since I recorded or whatever, and then we posted it the other day, and I watched it the other day, and I was like getting depressed. I was like, fuck, that was good.
Yeah, the sliding part. I remember we were in Denver. You got tired in the middle of it.
Yeah,
You had to pull
I was
yourself across the stage.
I was in
the
thin
mile-high
air.
climb. You're like, anyways.
Oh no, it was a very physical routine. I don't know if I could do it now. I don't know if I'd get back up all the time. I'd be
you'd
like,
have some sort of pain in your knee or something.
I don't want to do that.
Got to stretch.
You know, when I watched it back, though, I wish I differentiated more between her voice and his voice. In my mind, I was doing different voices, but the tone was exactly the same.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But you still get, because you do this thing where you move this way and then you move that way.
Yeah.
You stand here and you stand there. That's how you do
Very
it.
one-man
I would
show.
have, I would have been one of those good entertainers that was like half woman, half man. And I jumped.
You got to have a mustache.
Oh, my gosh.
Baby, it's cold outside. Well, what's that, baby? Oh, baby, it's cold outside.
Well,
I did the man and the woman bit back to front. Baby, it's cold outside. Oh, what's in that? Baby, it's cold outside. I jumped back and forth. And half of me would be in a tuxedo, the
Yeah,
other
that's
half would be
great.
in a dress.
That's
good.
great.
It's good entertainment.
Nah,
and that's
I will tell you right now, you'd have one less friend if that's who you were. I don't think I ever would have.
You're right. We wouldn't. I wouldn't be
let's hang out with
friends.
this guy.
I think I would have made a few more good friends besides Forrest, who's judgmental.
I don't think the friends
about
you'd
me
wanna
half cross-dressing. I half cross-dressed, and it wasn't up to Forrest standard. Forrest is just like, oh, not for me. Well, I was living my truth in that routine, and you want to come along with your bigotry? Let's get the guest.
Now let's welcome our guest, Eugene Edwards.
G'day, Eugene. It's nice to see you.
Good day.
mate.
Good to see you.
So it's not going to be electric guitar again, but we'll find out by playing this simple game called
Yes, though.
Yes, though. Yes, though.
Maybe.
Yes, though. Judging a book by its cover.
Boom. Eugene, you're involved in music. I know that about you. You also got fantastic hair.
This is the second time I've heard that today. Thank you.
Yeah, I assume you dyed because I can see the grey coming through on the sides. But I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. Oh, I do the same thing.
That's just to make it seem. It's just a reality check.
No. It's I when you go in as a man to get your hair dyed, and I do it, right?
Yeah.
I have it at the moment. I'm completely grey at the moment. When you do it, there is a feeling of they need a men's place for this because barbershops don't do it.
Yeah.
And hair salons, you're just sitting under that lamp thing with the with all the women.
Do you have like tin foil? And stuff?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I
I get it all just put through, and then the.
Are you reading like a magazine under the thing?
No, I don't get. That's the dryers.
Magnolias?
But there's other people. You're in the hair dyeing section.
Yeah.
And they're putting it through, and then they go, "Well, we're going to leave it another 5," and then they come back, and there's some assistant walks up and goes, "Yeah, it's a bit dark," because I keep on going back to my original colour. Right, from when I was 16.
Yeah.
I should go back to my original colour from when I was 40, where
Yeah.
I still had dark hair. Like, I shouldn't go, I'm taking it all the way back.
Yeah.
There's a benefit to having lighter hair. I'm sure I have grays in my hair, but it's harder to see them.
Yeah.
But my beard is like, why is my beard dark? And then it just has this gray patch. Stupid.
Well, no, you have fantastic hair. I didn't marry it.
Thank you, sir.
It turned into an insult.
No, I don't. Well, did it? Oh, did? Oh, I
think
suppose.
they still take it as a
backhanded.
compliment, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
He meant well.
God bless his heart. Yeah.
Do you want to guess what
I want
Eugene
to
is here
say.
talking
I
about?
want to say it's because of his name and the way he looks. It's the comedy of Eugene Levy.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Selling a car in National Lampoon's Vacation.
He does.
in Glendale.
The first thing, he's like this. Oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to get your car back, and it's already crushed into a cube.
Perfect.
Yeah, that was something we were talking about off air, but if anyone's
sorry.
curious. No, it's fine. I'm just saying because it's okay.
It's okay.
Everything's okay.
I feel like
Context.
the
We're giving
explanation is
You're right.
people didn't care as much.
Edit that out.
No.
All right, so it wasn't. It's not Eugene Levy, the
No.
comedy of.
No.
Is it the charitable work of Eugene Levy? Isn't
I
it?
don't think he does much charitable work there.
I think he'd do some. I reckon he'd get up at some type of auction. At his kids'
Auction.
at his kids' school back in the day,
Oh,
like he'd
yeah.
get up at
Oh,
the
God,
auction
yeah.
and just go, "Oh, this is all going to the children."
Yeah.
Okay, so is it music related?
Yes.
Is it? We talking about a particular band?
No.
Eugene Levy is a member of Canadian charity Artists Against Racism.
Yeah,
That's a good cause.
I'm a member of that technically too.
Good safe one, isn't it?
I'm not a member, but I agree with a lot of its ideas. Not all of their ideas, but some of it I do. I'm all for comedians.
Sorry, I interrupted you. You're guessing what?
Okay, so is it about a particular instrument?
No.
Okay, so it's about music. It's not about a band. Is it about a particular genre of music?
Yes.
Okay,
Do you remember the band he played in?
So we've done.
Or
We've
the
done
artist?
I was country. Is it country?
Yeah, that's it.
Ding, ding, ding,
I was
ding,
gonna give you
ding.
another hint. And
Is
say,
it country and or western? Is western included?
It can be.
I don't know the difference. I mean, we could talk about.
We'll
it. I
talk
guess,
about it.
yeah.
It'll come
Well,
up.
all
probably.
western music comes from California.
Ah, true. Good point.
I've said this about like America. They've all their stuff. The way they name areas is completely wrong. The Midwest is
The middle.
The Middle East.
Yeah, no, I got that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
It was named coming from east to west, so there's a bias.
Oh, I understand.
Clearly,
but,
yeah.
But the
That's
Middle
right.
East.
You're right.
But
It's
until
confusing.
I just want to see, Illinois
Middle East.
and Indiana get along. I just want a peace treaty in the Middle East between those two towns. You ever been? They're always shitting on each other.
When will it ever end?
Yeah, it's been going on since I've been here, and I assume it's been going on. I bet you when the Jackson 5 travelled over the border to Chicago to perform from Gary, Indiana, I bet you they had some prejudice against them
Yeah,
from the Gary Strip.
sure.
The Carey strip.
The Gary Strip.
I'll get in trouble for all this. All right, let's move on.
I was gonna give
Quickly?
you. I was gonna give you the hint
The
of.
Gary Strip's very funny.
Wait,
though.
I thought you went the
That's all
safe
right.
route on that. Yeah, I thought that was great.
Did we talk about Reba on here yet?
Reba McEntire.
We did talk about it.
Yeah, we
on
talked
here.
about
Yeah,
Reba.
yeah. I went to Reba's restaurant.
From Atoka.
Atoka, Oklahoma. It's not any of the questions. Sorry.
Yeah. I know about Reba.
Eugene Edwards attended.
I've been passing Dolly Parton's fucking
Parton's.
Dolly Parton's rock and roll billboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of Photoshop, but you would. Just from the billboard.
Wait.
And if you saw her as a Dallas cheerleader, I'm telling you, Christy Brinkley used to be my over 70s route, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But now I've moved Dolly in there as well.
Nice.
I've got two.
Yeah.
Literally, the last episode I did of the Merman podcast, Dave Williams and I were having the same exact conversation.
really?
No. We were just saying, like, you ever want to get? He's like, oh, yeah. And
The sexual harassment she must have had in her early 20s working in country.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, like, working in rock or whatever it is, but it was a very male-dominated thing back then, and she was something else.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary. You didn't think about it when you're a kid, and then you watch back, you go, she was all right, Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, always a beauty, yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't. As a kid, you looked older.
I get
it's
you.
like I didn't get the I was always Marsha Brady, and now that I watched the Brady Bunch recently, Florence Henderson. Oh my, Florence.
Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Brady.
Yeah.
let me introduce Eugene properly for those who don't know him. Eugene Edwards attended the Berklee College of Music and won the California Chapter Country Music Awards Guitarist of the Year.
Woo!
Composed a score for short films and documentaries and was part of K Earth's 101 Morning Show for 7 years and works as a spokesperson for Fender Guitar, and for the past 12 years has been the lead guitarist for country music legend Dwight Yoakam. And has a show on Dwight's Sirius XM channel, Cowpunks to Nowpunks.
Yep.
He also currently hosts the music podcast, The Know-It-All Hour, and hosts the streaming Eugene and Dylan Guitar Show. You can find him on IG and Twitter /X at Eugene Edwards 25 and on Facebook, Eugene Edwards. Thanks again for being here, Eugene.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
You've been here before. You know how this works. I'm
Yep.
going to ask Jim a series of questions about country music, and at the end of that, his answers, you're going to grade him as accuracy 0 through 10.
All my answers are Slim Dusty.
Slim Dusty.
I told you he was going to bring up Slim Dusty.
Yes, you
Slim
did. You
Dusty
promised
is all I
that.
know.
Called your
I don't know who
shot.
Slim Dusty is.
He's the pub with no beer. He was the original country, Australian country.
No, okay.
I love to have a beer with Duncan.
I noticed you did these. Did you do
I
these
love to have a
categories?
beer with
Yeah.
Dunk.
I'm glad. I'm just happy that you're doing these categories now. This is fun. Well, Adam. So he's gonna grade.
He
Eugene's
didn't
gonna
sound
grade.
like he was happy.
He
It
doesn't
sounded
sound
like
I am. It takes
very
it
mean
takes-
spirited.
No, it takes. It's one less thing. So you're gonna grade him on accuracy 0 to 10. Jackson grade him on confidence. I'm gonna grade him on how hungry I am, and we'll add all those scores together. And 0 through 10, Merle Haggard.
All right.
You know who he is,
I
right?
know of Merle Haggard.
11 through 20, Merle Sleepy. 21 through 30, Merle
Lynch, which is what they did a lot in country towns back in the day.
Well Rested.
Or well rested.
Merle Well Rested.
Oh, okay.
Where did country music come from?
The country, man.
Sure.
The hearts and minds of white men in the South.
Hearts and minds. Okay. Is that your answer?
That's not wrong.
I don't think it's wrong.
Everything. Okay, so country. Okay, I would have said the invention of the automobile. Right, would have been the domino push, because someone's dog would have gotten run over for the first time, and then the guy's wife would have left him, and then he wrote a song.
Invention of the wheel.
Yeah, the invention of the automobile.
Invention of the automobile.
Yeah,
Sorry. Okay.
Because it's got to go faster. than
My
just plain
dog
old
got
wheel.
run over, my wife left me now. Why did they invent the car?
I thought that was a song. What makes a country song different from a rock and blues one?
It's sweeter to fuck your sister by.
Sense a trend.
How do I score him when he's half right on things?
Like, as if it wasn't sweet enough to begin
Yeah.
with.
Just a little bit sweeter. Cherry on top.
I will say that one of my great privileges in comedy was not having a sister. Because I've had a make-believe sister in jokes so many times. Like, if she was a real woman, the amount of apologies I would have had to make.
yeah.
But
I don't
since
think
she's
you two would
never
be talking.
existed, I've had sex with this woman so many times, my imaginary sister, in jokes. It's just how I am.
Is that your answer? Sweeter to fuck your sister by?
It's part of my answer. What was the question?
What makes a country song different from a rock or a blues one?
Okay, well, a rock and blues song can have electric guitars in it. For the most part, country. Oh no, it does have electric guitars. I'm going to say Keith Urban.
Okay.
Keith Urban. This is not a bad answer, I think. What instruments are used in country songs?
Acoustic guitars, but now you can use like electric guitars. But historically, acoustic guitars.
Yeah, this is what you did for jazz. Similar.
Washboard.
A washboard?
Washboard.
Oh,
Washboard.
I don't know if I'll ever get that image of you playing an imaginary. You're just air washboarding. That's pretty good.
A stick with a bit of string onto a box that you pulled out to make it sound like a double bass.
One string bass. Okay.
A flask, like a ceramic flask, right? That has a small opening at the end, but you go.
A jug.
yeah,
A jug.
we have an American word for that, but yeah.
Jug. What? Oh, you get all yours from Looney Tunes.
Did they invent the car?
Any other instruments? Is that it?
The drums would have a go in there. The drums would have a go. Oh, harmonica.
Yeah.
A mouth organ. Mouth organ is something you might call
There's
it.
another joke for your sister in there. Okay. Why are most country songs 2 or 3 verses long?
Because your wife leaves you, you mourn about it, you get drunk, and then she comes back, and then you realise that you didn't need her after all.
All right.
So it's the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, the end of the story. So the problem. The problem arising, the activity of the problem,
Right. The middle, beginning, middle, end.
Yeah, and the resolution.
All right.
Okay. Why is the hub of country music in Nashville?
Because I'll tell you what, I've recorded a special in Nashville, and I've performed at the Ryman, as has the band the Doohickeys. I've sold out the Ryman many times, and so as someone who plays the Grand Old Opry. I'll tell you about the Grand Old Opry.
Tell me about it.
I've been on a stage where Elvis Presley was booed off.
Was he booed off there?
That's what one of the guys who works there reckons. He looked like he was 35.
Were you
maybe
booed off?
No, I've never booed off. No, not when Elvis was there. Anyway, but I say the Ryman, it's because of the Grand Old Opry, and it's like, so all the people from the surrounding towns, it was like a hub in the middle. Also, I reckon they sell the most hats and boots there. And of anywhere I've gone, if you want to get country merchandise, that's the way to go. In fact, I will say, if you're a balding man, Nashville is the town for you. You could go decades without anyone knowing about your baldness. Because even if you're not wearing a cowboy hat, you can wear a trucker hat. They seem that hat city, and no one's like, take your hats off indoors. They're like, put your hats on. Woo-doo.
Yeah, you're indoors. Where's your hat?
Hey, where's your indoor hat?
Emergency rooms.
Yeah.
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 Do other countries have country music? If so, like describe.
Australia has country music.
Yeah.
Australia has country music. Yeah, Australian country.
Anyone else?
Is Hey True Blue a country song?
Hey, that's John Williamson. Hey, true blue, don't say you're gone. Say you've knocked off for a smoko.
Any other countries have artists?
Yeah, there'd be a bloke in Britain who just, and then there'd be one bloke in Britain. There'd be a few blokes in Eastern Europe, which here was my big hit, pierogi. Potatoes and cheese. Right? So that bloke, that's
this is Eugene's life.
No. I love this.
Okay, all right. I'm just making
okay.
sure.
No, I'm not. I'm
No,
not
I
a fan.
know. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and but there's other countries that probably have their own version of country music. New Zealand would have some. Africa would have some, but it would mostly be those bushmen that jump up and down.
Okay.
That would be their country music.
What was the Dust Bowl, and how did it affect country music?
The Dust Bowl was the fanciest restaurant in all of in all of Tennessee, and it's where Dolly Parton got a tit job.
It was a good restaurant.
Yeah, it's a good restaurant. It was. But if you finished that whole hoagie, you get a tit job. And Dolly smashed it back at about 18 years of age, and they took it back there, and she was like, "Well, you're all so nice." And then she moved on and made Jolene.
Is that your final answer?
Yep.
Okay.
further questions.
What is the Bakersfield sound? You know what Bakersfield is?
Yeah, it's in California, Bakersfield.
Yeah.
And it's not a popular town. And if you live in Bakersfield, hey, I'm sorry.
That's where Arnie's from.
Yeah, I know.
That's his dog.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
No, Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. You didn't think that was the accent of Bakersfield?
Yeah, I was curious.
Bakersfield. I go here to do country.
Bakersfield sound. What is it?
He just did it.
Yeah, I just did it.
That's it.
No, the Bakersfield sound would have been 13 different musicians playing at once, a baker's dozen. Boom shakalaka.
Ooh.
Baker's dozen. Okay. These are very creative.
That's because Baker's a fat fucks who eat the 13th one.
What are some famous
Greedy.
country music venues?
The Ryman.
Yeah.
The Ryman in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
Sun Records is not a venue, but it has been a venue to a lot of musicianship.
Good.
And that's in Memphis, Tennessee.
Good work.
Okay.
Capitol
Capitol Records.
Tamworth, Australia is our Nashville. That's the
Well,
home
we
of country.
can't really
You ever been to
verify this.
Tamworth?
I have. I've played Tamworth. I have.
All right.
Yes,
well,
I
then
have.
you've been.
Loved it.
I've never played Tamworth. They say there's a theatre not big enough for me.
I believe.
Spoke too soon.
Tamworth, they had a huge guitar, right?
So I'll be there in a couple of years.
Working towards it. That's good. It's good to have goals, Jim. Good to have goals.
No, I'll definitely play Tamworth if I can. But they did tell me it wasn't worth me while to go there. But I'm up for going
Where
to
is
Tamworth.
Tamworth?
It's in the middle bit.
Okay.
You know, further. It's away from the beach.
Okay.
Why were the 1927 Bristol Sessions significant?
Was this Bristol, England, or Bristol, America? Because there were two different sessions.
America.
America.
It's America.
Okay.
Two different
Well,
sessions.
that's different. That's different then.
Yeah, the American ones.
I want to say they were different because they let in
Significant.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they let in people of colour.
Okay.
That's not a bad bet around
not a
1920.
bad bet.
And
No,
that's
that's
before
educated
the
guess.
civil rights movement and all that type of stuff. So that would have been very significant.
Okay.
And it's probably in the South somewhere. So I want to hang me hat on that answer.
Okay.
As we know, the very tolerant music style here over the years. Okay. What instrument made its first appearance on the Webb Pierce record Slowly in 1954? Country music.
What instrument?
Was Webb
what
Pierce
year?
record Slowly in 1954? This
1954.
instrument made its
Do you want the language of origin?
first appearance.
I would say electric guitar. That was the first time electric guitar was played into the country music.
Okay. What was the outlaw movement and who were some of the prominent artists?
Well, I was going to be an outlaw. I know the Highwaymen.
Yeah.
Is that the Highwaymen?
Yeah, that fit.
All right, you're the Highwaymen.
But what was the movement, the outlaw? The outlaw movement, who were some of the artists? I'll put Highwaymen.
I would say the outlaw was to see. That's why. How has the South not got legalized weed? All their country artists are fucking the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like talking about Willie Nelson.
Yeah, Willie Nelson and the other one. They've all do it. They all do it. I would say to legalization of weed within country music.
Okay. I don't think you're going to get a good score here.
I need a good score. all I do is sit back and picture fucking my sister.
What was hee-haw?
Hee-haw!
Hee-haw.
It was a type of chocolate milk that competed against Yoo-hoo.
Okay.
I've never had Yoo-hoo. I've only ever seen it referenced in like...
Terrible.
It,
All right.
it looks
I'll
like
pick
it's not
some up
good.
on the way over.
Well, I'm
It's not-
stopping at World Empanadas for dinner, so I'll get you empanadas for your meal when you come over.
Great,
tonight.
and I'll get you a Yoo-hoo.
I'll
What
have
a
Yoo-hoo.
swap. Wow.
Yeah,
Deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
What Buck Owens song was covered by the Beatles? So Buck Owens
I'm
is
gonna
country music.
say Kansas City.
Kansas City is a Beatles song?
Yeah, going to Kansas City,
Oh,
City
yeah.
when it comes.
And then last question.
But it's more the...
What is a nudie suit?
What, a nudie suit?
Nudie.
Yeah, it's like one of those, it's like a skin colour. And you just wear it and you go, oh, nudie,
But-
Rudy. And then you put like a leaf over the top and you act like you're Adam and Eve for fucking Halloween.
But in relation to country music, what is a nudie suit in relation to country music?
A nudie suit?
That's the name of it, yeah. And that's how you say it, right?
Yep. You're saying it right.
Nudie suit.
That's a condom.
What does it have to do with country music?
Great.
A lot of them fucking knock women up. So they said,
They need some nudie
you
suits.
start wearing nudie suits. If you all start wearing nudie suits, we'll have less children kicking around the tour bus.
Eugene, how did Jim do?
Get me onto the guy I hate, Johnny Cash.
Well, we'll talk about him.
I hate Johnny Cash.
Yeah, no, I know. We'll talk about him.
Have you heard his rant, Eugene?
I've heard the rant. I'm aware. I've heard one of the times you've done the rant.
This is every Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, you've been doing it all.
Yeah, that's him.
The whole episode so far.
Well, I was being by the small and in the bottle little bay.
Kevin Winslow of podcasts. Obscure reference.
Yeah, we know him.
On accuracy.
Accuracy 0 through 10, country music.
Here's the as we'll go through. You're close to right or half right on a lot of things, but not quite. So I gotta go 7.
7.
Damn.
I know. I'm kind of
way too generous. Some of our guests put the answers in here like you did, and I was reading the answers, and I think you were very generous.
yes, but I'll explain why he's close and
right.
shockingly close.
How do you do on confidence?
I mean, that was 10 all the way through. He wasn't wavering at all in those answers.
That was a 20, I think. Yeah. So 7 and 10. That's 17.
Are you hungry, Forrest?
No, I'm not very hungry.
That's because you filled up on an iced coffee. It's very filling.
I'm very tired.
I always burp those back up.
-3. I think I may make you Merle Haggard, which I think is the best Merle anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to go -10. Merle Haggard, I'm not very hungry.
Right.
All right, where did country music come from, Eugene? Jim said the hearts and minds of white men in the South.
That's an answer
Again,
right there.
I mean, it's not completely correct, but it's also, there's some truth to that. Now, oddly enough, you touched upon this earlier in the show. The answer is from the southern and southwestern states of America, which aren't located precisely in the South or the South, but essentially, yeah. So we're talking about really the agrarian states, mostly in the South and towards the West and the Southwest, like Texas and outward that way. So,
And is it an American thing, or did it organically happen in other countries?
it is specifically an American thing, and I'll give you a little more background on the next question here. But it is a specific
Jump right into
American
it if you
form.
want,
All right. So, what makes a country song different from a rock or blues song? Again, they share a lot of the same instruments. See, you brushed upon that too. They share a lot of the same scales, and yeah, there you go. Even just that two-beat bass line right there exists in other forms of music. So they share the same scales, same progressions, music is very similar. However, I would think that the narrative tradition in the songs are what make country. The fact that you actually tell usually a very detailed story. In blues, you can kind of use platitudes like, I woke up this morning, blah, 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 blah. I woke up this, you can kind of use cliches, if you will, and it relies on that tradition. But in country music, it's usually got to be a pretty specific story being told. That's because it's taken from mostly the English and Scots-Irish ballads from the old country that were brought here to the Appalachians in the South.
Oh, so it comes from like all the sort of Celtic-y type of music.
Exactly. Usually ballads telling about the heroic feats of some person of lore or some tragic tale. So a lot of murder ballads, a lot of killing going on. All this stuff was, or a lot of people were dying for Ireland in a lot of those songs.
Sunday, buddy, Sunday.
Well, that's a more modern. Yes, yeah, sure.
I like a good narrative song. I should probably like country music. I like Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
That's a great
like my
example.
favorite narrative song.
That's a great example.
It literally just tells you the whole story. He's like, and then the ship went out and it was too heavy, and they said we can't eat dinner tonight. I'm not paraphrasing.
So while the part about being with your sister, maybe not quite on the nose there. But,
You can marry your cousin, though.
Well, sure.
That was rock and roll did that more, though.
I was gonna.
I just watched a doco on Elvis and all of his 13-year-olds. It's
All his 13-year-olds?
It wasn't with 14 years. It wasn't just Priscilla. There was. But I will say this: none of them seem to be angry with him. They're all like 70-year-old women who are just like, well, that was Elvis. That's how he
I
was.
just told this joke to Jack the other night. What was Jerry Lee Lewis's favorite chord?
I don't know.
The minor relative.
I was gonna say B minor, but I didn't make really sense.
F minor is the alternate answer to that.
F minor. There you go. What instruments are in country music? Jim said guitars, washboard, one-string bass, jug, and mouth organ.
Although those are pretty close. Yeah, those are really rustic, rural versions of a few things, but certainly guitars, both acoustic and electric. See, he's right there. The one-string bass, I think it's really the upright bass we originally saw, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking like going way back.
Yeah, you're old. That's old time. What we call old time music.
I'm not going to use one of those girly double basses. I got my string and a stick.
Well, most significantly in the beginning, it was the fiddle. the fiddle,
yes.
banjos,
Yes.
steel guitars, which are played like on the lap with a steel
That
bar.
bloke in
We're talking-
Atlanta with the fiddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie Pluth. What's his name? No. What's his name?
Charlie Puth?
No, who's the guy that the devil went down to Georgia?
Oh, Charlie Daniels.
Charlie Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fiddle.
In fact, there's a
Johnny
story.
Rosin-
Charlie Daniels tells a story about meeting Itzhak Perlman, the famous Israeli classical violinist, and I think Perlman said something like, "I hear you're a violinist," and Charlie Daniels said, "I'm a fiddle player," and Perlman said, "We're all fiddle players." It's the same instrument. It's really just
I don't know what the
difference.
difference is.
It's just nomenclature.
yeah,
The
fiddle.
bridge is different. It's flatter on a fiddle.
There's something about being a fiddle player that would probably get you laid more than a violinist, though. Something more macho about it.
Wow.
Maybe.
Ah, look, hey.
Depends who you're going for, I guess.
Yeah.
Devil went down to Georgia's. That's like one of the all-time greats.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm saying it's macho.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah.
but a very romantic classical piece played as violin that might.
And again, a narrative. It's all narratives. I get it. So it's always a story.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just telling the
Catching
story.
on.
Yeah.
I got it.
What was Michael Jackson's favourite instrument? The fiddle. Oh, God, I can't do these jokes.
It's okay.
Why are most country songs
It's a
two or three verses long? Jim said there's a beginning, a middle, and end. Your wife leaves you, she comes back, yada yada.
Okay, again, no, check me on this, guys, because I think he's kind of, you're onto something.
I'm
Now,
not
this is
wrong.
going back to
Got a 7.
well, in the 1920s when they started recording this music, finally, like the technology to record it, it was being cut straight to disc, right?
Laser disc,
Well,
CD.
not quite. No, it's more like
Eight-track.
a lathe. It was actually a piece of wax or
Oh, you mean like a thing to go into like a gramophone, like a circular tube?
you got it.
Oh, okay.
You got it. And as they're playing into a horn or a microphone, those vibrations are being transduced to a machine that's etching it into a disc. Now, the disc it can only take so many minutes of information. So again, remember, a lot of these songs were old Scots Irish ballads, like 15, 17, 20 verses, because they're from a time when no one had electricity or any way to entertain themselves. So, hey, do us a song, and you could take like half an hour doing a story song and entertain everybody on the porch. Well,
Not everyone.
not everyone. Yes, someone's going to slip out at some point. So,
Fuck, he's doing this song.
yeah.
He did this one last week, bloody rerun, innit?
Got any more stories?
So now they're going to go into a recording studio for the first time to do all this old time music, and the guy running it, mostly a guy named Ralph Pierce, says, "You're going to have to shorten that." So now all of a sudden, what was a 15-verse song has got to be maybe 2, 3, 4, and you had to get the story, the beginning, middle, and end. You had to get this thing truncated in a big way. So our modern
Jen.
song forms really are to accommodate the technology, and it started back there in the 20s.
But now that we have longer technology,
Yeah.
because so this even goes. Okay, do you remember I think it was Mozart or whatever. There was like or Beethoven's ninth or whatever is the reason that CDs are a certain length, because whoever was making it was like, that's as long as song I know.
Yeah, it was a bit. Yeah, there was some sort of lore that they
It was
used
like-
a classical music piece to
Yeah.
like about how long can we go, and they've tried to find something that was pretty long. But it's and now that we have the technology goes long, because now it's all on Spotify, let's say, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no limit. But our appetite for a song, when we think of a song, it's really not.
Isn't that funny though? Because like so going through the 70s and everybody like prog rock and stuff like that, and bands like Yes that were just like doing these long, or the Grateful Dead jamming for fucking ever and all that type of stuff. And now it's like we can do that stuff as long as we want, and we've got the attention span of a minute and a half.
Right. Well, no. Let me. You're right. There seems ironic. However, don't forget, we essentially listen to all music now on demand. Meaning, so we play it right up front. So we hear songs from the very beginning now. Right. As we're used to like turn in halfway through a song sometimes on a radio station, and that part had to be just as catchy as the beginning or the middle. Well, now a lot of modern songs, like all the information is in the first. They've got 5 seconds to keep you, or you're going to move on. So again, not only the
I fucked my
Oh,
songs,
sister.
yeah,
So you get straight in. Straight in.
and Jim's in.
And now you're like, oh, what's he talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read an article about why Post Malone became as famous as he did, and it's because he put like the chorus at the beginning.
Yeah,
that
well-
was one of the things. It was like
Well, it's
three,
one
but
of
it was like
things.
the hook was
No,
right there at the
most
beginning.
songs. That's a great example. Most songs do that. Now the Beatles did that, and a lot of country artists
It's
did that.
been a hard day's night.
Yeah, you
Straight
start
in.
off with a
Exactly. So that's always been there, you know.
Yeah. Why is the hub of country music in Nashville? Jim says because most hats and boots.
Yeah, a lot of hats and boots, man.
Grand Old Opry too.
Well, merchandising and marketing has a lot to do with the answer. Again, that's why I feel like he's so close. A couple of things. Well, certainly the Ryman Auditorium being there and the Grand Old Opry essentially become the most famous and largest broadcast of country music across the early part of the 20th century. They had a huge signal. So that WMS was the name of the station, and they could be heard from like really across the country. So, and that was based in Nashville. Also, a publishing company called Acuff Rose established itself there, and it just sort of, it's more like the publishing part of it and the Ryman Auditorium, the Grand Old Opry started drawing people there starting in the early 40s. No, music, there were Hank Williams Sr. had recorded in Cincinnati. There were other towns with studios and stuff, but eventually it really starts to draw towards Nashville by the 40s.
And it feels like Nashville now is not just country music. Like there's a lot of rock music and stuff going. It just feels like the hub for music. Is that correct, or is it still mostly country?
It's still mostly country. Still mostly country. Now, of course, modern country does incorporate rock and even hip hop and all that things. So there's an audience for pretty much anything in Nashville. That's true.
A lot of modern country is always talking about like save a horse, ride a cowboy, or whiskey gets me liquor and me like that one.
Corn, no wait,
Rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey.
Whiskey makes my girl a little
Baby,
bit
feel it
frisky. Something.
Yeah, they're all about. It's all about fucking
Luke Bryan.
Yeah, it's all about.
It's
all about jump off a cock. You got no time to lose.
I don't think all of it is though. I like Sturgill Simpson. He's like modern. He's
Yeah,
totally
no one.
different.
I don't know who Sturgill is, but no one's fucking a guy called Sturgill.
Nah, I think so. He's,
I think he
he's
would.
very popular.
He got married first, then he became a country
he's
artist.
very popular.
Star. Yeah, it was. He did the right math. Though.
He was my top artist this year on Spotify.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Was he?
He sings a lot of he sings a lot about tripping. Well, that first album, like drugs and tripping and having no religion and getting into psychedelics.
He opened for us the first time he went on the road. He opened for us on tour, and so I got to know him quite a bit before he broke big. But he had served time in the military, so he does write very detailed music about like a lot of the men and women that have served in Afghanistan.
Oh, I've
and
heard
their
him. He
issues.
talked about taking drugs for the PTSD and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah. So he's really
was
on
on
top
Conan and stuff, yeah.
He's really on top of what's happening in modern Americans' lives in a very detailed way, and so that's what makes him pretty special.
Isn't there a story like so? There was one year he didn't get nominated. His album was like the top selling. It didn't get nominated, and then he bust outside of the.
Yeah, he wasn't invited into the award ceremony. Also, he just stood outside and opened his guitar case and just bust all
I
night.
basically did that at the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
As a protest.
Is that how you got it?
Yeah. I went and played the biggest fucking theatre because they wouldn't have me in the program. Go fuck yourself. And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Sturgill Simpson. He's really
Coming to get ya.
There's a lot of country artists. I like the guy that's on Yellowstone. What's his name?
Kevin Costner.
Ryan
right.
Bingham.
Oh yeah, great songwriter.
Yeah,
yeah. There's a lot for everybody in country music, and there always has been. But continue, sorry.
Do other countries have country music? Jim said Australia, England. There's one bloke, few blokes in Eastern Europe, New Zealand, and Africa.
Well, again, Australia for sure. Now, I would say there's two other countries that significantly have their own country artists, and they're both large, agrarian, and English-speaking. First is Australia. The other would be Canada. And
that was the same. Of course, Canada is bloody good. That's like how I had to say New Zealand has it. Like if Australia has it, New Zealand has it.
Now, I don't know. Is Keith Urban from New Zealand or Australia? Originally.
Keith is Australian, and he's married to Nicole.
No, I'm aware.
That's Australian royalty.
But you answered differently. I said, is he from New Zealand or from Australia? You said he's Australian.
I believe he's from Australia, but I don't know much about the guy. I like Slim Dusty.
No, I know you do. Do you remember Lee Kernigan?
Lee Kernigan, yeah.
We toured with him and we were there.
He was a big artist, Lee Kernigan. Yeah.
You have
Very
Olivia
loved
Newton-John on your list.
What about John Williamson?
John Williamson, very good. Yeah,
That's my father's favorite artist is John Williamson.
Oh, sure. You grew up hearing a lot of his records.
I don't mind at all if you call me a manly boy. Well, I've ripped and dug out burrows on a furry bollocks hill. Eradicating rabbits doesn't take a lot of skill. And that's all like that little country towns in Australia and stuff like that.
Detailed narratives?
Yeah, detailed narratives. And he sang True Blue was his big song. But my father will go sees him every time he plays the local RSL or whatever. My dad puts aside $150 to get a John Williams. It might be less actually, but he goes along and sees him by himself if no one will go with him. He fucking loves it.
But yeah, when Olivia Newton-John first broke here in the States, she broke as a country singer.
physical.
This is before that.
I'm trying to think of songs.
But this is why
I'm not trying to make you feel uncomfortable. That's Peter Allen, but she had a big hit with that. She won but it wasn't. That was.
Notice in the movie Grease when she has her solo spot when she sings "Hopelessly Devoted to You." You hear pedal steel guitars.
Oh yeah, it's like
a country ballad.
Country style. Yeah.
I always liked that about Grease, that they had an Australian lead. I thought that was wonderful. And they sort of just go, "Oh, my parents didn't want to go home, and we're just here."
Yeah, they cover it pretty quickly.
Okay, well, let's not ask any more questions. And every time I go for an audition, can you do the American accent for us, please? And I was like, I just did it.
What was the Dust Bowl and how did it affect country music? Jim said it was the fanciest restaurant in Tennessee. Partner got her boob job there because she ate the biggest sub sandwich or something like that. I don't know.
Here he's 100% wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
yeah.
as wrong as one could be. As well as some of the others, you were partially no. And I think the fact that you were in Oklahoma and stopped at a Cracker Barrel probably influenced your answer.
I didn't stop at a Cracker Barrel. I stopped at Reba's.
Reba's, that's right.
We stopped at her restaurant.
Okay,
Yeah.
And she comes and talks to you, and she makes you go in there, and you're going to get yourself a hamburger.
Yeah, a cherry Coke
hamburger.
Yeah,
cherry Coke cheeseburger.
And there's just
Is it good?
It's playing the whole time.
You go, is it good? Oh, it's real good.
Fried green tomatoes.
Fried green
We had fried green
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
Why would life be without 4 green tomatoes? What about John Denver? Does he ever slip in? Thank God I'm a country boy.
Well, yes, he did, actually, somewhat controversially. So one year, 1974, I'm guessing, he won Country Artist of the Year. And a guy named Charlie Rich, who's a Memphis musician, he was the one who's reading the award. And he opens the envelope, and you can look at this very famous clip, and he pulls it and he looks at it. And before he says anything out loud, he takes his lighter and lights it on fire and says John Denver and tosses it. And John Denver was accepting remotely somewhere, but it was like a bit of a protest because like
But why would he get into John Denver for?
well, I think at this point this is where there's always been a divide on whether an artist is authentic or not. This has been going on since the beginning of country
name's
music.
Denver.
Well, not that's a strange name.
I know, it's Dusseldorf.
But I think it is something pretty.
Yeah, it's German.
So there's so anyway, it was just a matter of people just didn't think he was authentically country. He just I know.
Yeah, the same way Kanye protested Taylor
What
Swift. It's like, this
about on
happens.
Grandma's feather bed? It was 5 feet wide, 6 feet tall. Soft as a downy spread. It was made from the sheep of 4 leather feet with a hole in a bone. Come on, get the fuck out of
If you
here.
told me you were making that up right now, I'd believe you.
Grandma's
I
bed.
don't even know.
We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed.
Yeah, but see,
They did it on the Muppets.
Don't come down to me on accuracy. The guy's just quoting lyrics. He's ripping them off like Shakespeare. Yeah.
This is his trick. This is what he does. Dust Bowl. We haven't even talked about the Dust
Sorry,
Bowl.
the Dust Bowl was the result.
Thank God I'm a country boy. Well, I got me a fine enough. I got no fiddle. The sun's coming up. Got to keep
We're
on the
gonna get
griddle.
so sued
Life
for this
ain't better than a
episode.
funny
All right.
duddy riddle.
Let's mute his mic.
Thank God I'm a country boy.
Okay, so the Dust Bowl was something that happened in during the 30s mostly, and it was an ecological and agricultural disaster, basically, right? So there's just winds are blowing. It's just awful, and all these folks in these states, in these southern states, in the plains states, they cannot feed themselves. They can't make a go of it, so they have to move westward. Mostly in California, where we could grow crops. So
Right.
these folks, a lot of them were from Oklahoma, Texas, all these places, but they all became just known as Okies. So Tom Joad, Grapes of Wrath, a lot of that literature is about that time in American history.
YMCA. It was the village people
No.
with A country.
No.
Go west.
Can I-
Life is peaceful there. Go west.
Can I change the score to a 6?
Covered
You have to,
covered
yeah.
by the
Don't worry.
other country band, the Pet Shop Boys.
Okay. I think just
I have a soft spot for the Pet Shop Boys. I do.
that's a good act.
I would like to
actually.
see. Yeah, I'd like
They're
to see them
really
in
good.
concert. It's one of those things that when they come on the radio, I go, "Oh,
Those
Pet
songs
Shop
are
Boys."
good.
I've never bought an album, but I've always, whenever I hear them, I'm happy.
I never switched the station.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You never shut off
yeah.
the picture. I have to admit, yeah.
Yeah.
good.
You were always on my mind.
So when these
they go for it.
When all these folks moved to California basically for work, they brought their music with them, their instruments and their stories, and so this starts to have an influence on music on the West Coast.
And that's the Bakersfield sound, right? Not 13 different at once musicians.
Yeah, that was you're very wrong there. Why you're wrong is because
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The Bakersfield sound is a very hard driving country based in honky tonk, which is kind of a pared down version. So it's not fancy. In the 30s and 40s, there was like Western swing was kind of like a jazz version of country music, and they had tons of horns. It was a big band, and after World War II, mostly those bands shrunk as they did in jazz and other idioms. So honky tonk music is usually just kind of like one guitar, maybe one fiddle, bass, drums, a singer. It's very, very pared down, and it's very hard driving. A lot of drums. It's a hard. And in Bakersfield, especially in that time, when you're playing the bars there, it's a lot of smashed bottles and bloody lips, right? It's a pretty hard life there. So you got to play really loud, and you got to keep it really simple. So there's really isn't any jazz influence anymore. It's much more a blues-based electric sound. That's the Bakersfield sound.
Like the movie from Clint Eastwood, Honky Tonk Man.
Which is that's a Johnny Horton song, but that's
Throw your arms around this honky tonk man, and then he coughs blood up into a tissue all the time. I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid. It was just one of those ones that used to show up on the TV.
I forget.
You're like in Australia. You go, I got 3 channels. Oh, I'm watching the Honky Tonk Man
again.
That movie's based on Hank Williams Sr.'s life. It's not accurate in any way. It's just kind of a riff off of
What? So Hank Williams didn't have a chimp that rode alongside him?
No, he did not. That is a different
same era though. Same era.
Yeah.
He did Honky Tonk Man, and then he did the one where the chimp slapped him all the time.
Any which way but loose.
Any which way but loose.
Any which way you can.
Any which way but loose. You turn me, baby. It's no excuse.
It's actually an orangutan, if I may.
Yeah, it's Clyde.
They're still monkeys.
Set them straight.
Clyde.
Down to a 5.
They're actually great apes.
Do you know that's the derogatory term for redheads in Australia that's socially acceptable? You guys know because I've said it.
Yeah.
Ranger.
Gotcha.
If you go, the bloody ranger came over, it's talking about a redhead. You can do that. You can do that just out in public, and no one will stop.
They'll let you do it.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to have guns there. So see how it.
So the Rangers can't rise up.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the movie Planet of the Rangers. The sequel, The Fight for Sunscreen.
That'd be a funny movie villain. The redheads are trying to like kill the sun so they stop getting burns.
Yeah. The fourth movie, Shade.
What are some famous country venues? Jim said the Ryman, and then he also said the Tamworth in Australia.
I don't know the venue, but Tamworth is
confirmed.
Tamworth is the home of country music in Australia.
Yeah, and there's a huge guitar statue.
They built the Hard Rock there.
Yeah.
Actually, the Hard Rock ripped them off. That was we had the guitar before them. I think it's been there for a long time. Who knows? Who knows?
First of all, yes, the Ryman Auditorium for sure. So you're right there. There's an old dance ballroom in Tulsa called Kane's Ballroom. They still do
with the chicken.
Big, yeah. There you go. So that was a classic.
Chicken.
That's a Western swing bands played there all the time. Very influential place. There's a place in Dallas called Gillies where they filmed Urban Cowboy, the movie. Also, there was a place in North Hollywood on Lancashire called the Palomino, and it's gone now. But that's where they filmed a lot of those bar fights in the Clint Eastwood movies were filmed there. But
It's not there anymore?
No. But it's
where was the Rhinestone Cowboy? Like a rhinestone cowboy. I love that one. That was a good one. If that one comes on the radio, I'm tuning in as well. Very rarely shows up, but I'm going to put that in me.
Who sings that?
Glenn Campbell.
Campbell.
Great song.
Yeah, I know the song. Yeah, I just didn't know.
What about everybody's talking at me? Is that classified as country?
No.
That's a beautiful song.
That's
Harry Nilsson.
Harry Nilsson.
Sung by Harry Nilsson, written by a guy named Fred Neil. And just
Dolphins.
Sorry?
Doesn't he have a song Dolphins, Fred Neil?
Maybe.
Yeah,
You got me there.
I know that song.
Because you're from Florida.
Yeah, we played it at we spread my mom's ashes. She liked the song. We put it out.
Way to bring that up. Thanks, Eugene.
He always finds a way to work that
Why
in.
don't you just say, when did your mum die? And bloody get done with it.
I didn't mean it on purpose.
Yeah, now.
I got that guy.
Fred Neil.
He's not just that guy. He's a chimp.
Fred Neil recorded the song first.
People's clothes. Yeah.
But all I know is he lived the end of his life in the Florida Keys where my mom lived, and so there was a song called "The Dolphins" where he's looking at these dolphins. It's really kind of trippy. It's a cool song.
I'll have to look it up.
I didn't even know you were going to mention Fred now. Just like dolphins. I just go dolphins.
This is what he does.
Yeah,
This is what he does. He throws up things that he knows to get away from the questions. That's his little trick.
Yeah.
But I'm proud to say I played in Tamworth and those parts of Australia when we went on tour. Was over
Did you
10
go to
years ago.
Dubbo?
I don't know if I went to Dubbo. Tamworth was significant, but going up to that part of Australia, we're on the northeastern side of it, it is very Texan. Like
what you
very
mean
tasty.
up near Cairns and Port Douglas and all that type of stuff? Yeah,
we went all
yeah.
the way to the top. Yeah, and it was. I mean, we had a blast,
It's
but it was
beautiful.
Yeah, but it was very much like Texas.
Oh,
I
it's
guess.
rough.
Even the
Ooh,
gigs,
no, you can-
outdoors, a lot of cattle, a lot of livestock going on up there.
Well, I come from Queensland stock. I come from a town called Roma. My father grew up there, but my grandfather was a cattle. It was a homeless teenager, right? Who went on to be a cattle auctioneer.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he said, "Come over here. We got this bull over here. We got this thing like that." And I'm yeah. He was actually my step grandfather, but I used to think that cunt was cool as fuck. And he was like a proper Queenslander. And then he was like, you know when so if someone was rude to him, he would say like, you know when people call racism about they don't like me because I'm a blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
He would say that about being a Queenslander. The problem is that bloke doesn't like Queenslanders. Like you're not wearing a Queensland t-shirt. You're still just a white guy. Yeah, bloody doesn't like fucking Queenslanders. Don't go in there.
What did you tour Australia with Dwight Yoakam?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, he was in Sling Blade, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He's a good actor. Does he still act?
Yeah.
It's hard to act though with the old touring.
Yeah,
life.
it's tough to split the time.
It's hard to split the time.
I was pretty sure that's what I was asking, but yeah, he was awesome in that movie. I mean, he was terrible, like terrible person, but
Great
he was
at
really
being
good.
terrible,
Yeah. Why were the 1927 Bristol Sessions significant?
Okay, so now it was integrated though, so that you're right. It wasn't. That's not why it was significant.
Mate,
but
that might not be significant to you, but it's significant to me.
It shows. It says a lot about
If you don't think that was significant in the 1920s, then, sir, you're not welcome on this podcast again.
this sacred ground here. I don't know about that.
You're going to go, it was the bringing in of the fiddle.
Well, but I appreciate that you mentioned that, though. No, the Bristol Sessions in 1927 was essentially a guy named Ralph Peer who was making records and selling them, and usually just hitting markets. Just that part of this state, this music does well here, this music does well there, and he's kind of just looking for more artists that are doing this old time music, right? That's never been recorded before.
Sure.
So a musician he knows says you should set up in Bristol, which is a town right on the edge of Tennessee and Virginia, so you can cross the river and instantly. And he set up in an old hat shop, and he actually hid the equipment behind a curtain, realizing a lot of people had never seen this gear before, and he doesn't want them to be nervous. So there's just a microphone, and people came from all over. He put out an ad to come and make some records, and because this one guy he had recorded, again, this is 1927, had earned $3,600 the previous year. So they put that in the press because that's 4 times the national average at the time. In terms of salary.
Massive, yeah.
So people came from all over. Just get here if you can and bring your music with you. So people came from all these rural places and did a lot of these songs recorded for the first time. So that's significant there, and that we're actually getting this massive collection of music from all over the place. Because up until then, it's just Caruso and a few things that are on records, right? It's like, but this is actually the music that people are actually living with day to day, being on record for the first time. 2 acts come out of this: Jimmy Rogers and the Carter Family. Those are the big commercial breaks for those 2 acts, and they go on to actually dominate the rest of country music. And Jimmy Rogers pretty much exemplifies the lone drifter, kind of the guy on his own, and the Carter Family, being it's 2 women and a guy, they represent the domestic and tranquility and home and tradition and stuff. So those 2 archetypes are just like created right there. Lightning strikes twice in August of 1927. So we're really coming up on the 100th anniversary of country music as we know it because of the Bristol Sessions.
Is that June Carter's from that family?
Yes. Yes. She's the daughter of. So I'm going to get the lineage incorrect. She's she's one of the daughters.
That woman swallowed some average cum in a day.
Who's that?
She was married to Johnny Cash.
No, I know.
Oh, okay. Like, what?
You really want to let loose on Johnny Cash, right? Hold on, we're almost there to the question.
She must have had some disappointing fucks in a day, June Carter.
What?
Well, I'm gonna come now.
What instrument made its first appearance on the Webb Pierce record Slowly in 1954? You said the electric guitar.
Although it was electric guitar, it was the pedal steel guitar.
Yeah,
So-
but that's
No,
what he
not
meant.
quite. Yeah, that's what he meant.
everyone. That's a given.
So when you hear it, you know it. So in the early part of the 1900s, there was a big Hawaiian music craze. In 1900, we annexed
I'm
Hawaii.
into Hawaiian music. I love Hawaiian
I've
music.
heard you speak about
That's
it.
like
actually.
almost country music.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I find it very peaceful. Yep. And then sometimes I have it when I just need to calm down. I have it in things. I like it. And then I like watching it in the little slide thing with the finger and all that type of stuff, right? Yeah. I love it. I'll have a ukulele. Yeah. Hey, if you give me a fat man, okay, I'll listen to you.
I don't
And
know
all
if they're
that-
not fat.
Yeah, no, but I like the fat Hawaiian playing the ukulele.
He's dead.
It's no, but there's several of them.
There's
I know.
more. There's
Every,
more.
the guy you're
every
thinking
time I'm out of there's a fat fuck playing a ukulele, right? Now, this is the thing about the fat playing the ukulele. Surely they should be double bass players. Why are they this big and they've gone, make an instrument that makes me look larger?
Yeah. It's like the size of their calf, you know.
Yeah,
Oh shit, my guitar shrunk.
Yeah. So the Hawaiians had taken the Spanish steel guitar as we knew it, and they put it on their lap, and there was and started playing it with a piece of metal or bar,
Yeah.
and this became very popular in the States. Really popular. And country music is always absorbing whatever's going on. It's always updating itself. So it had a lot of lap steel, the slide on there, but in the 50s they started trying to like get these gadgets there to where you can only one or two strings would move as opposed to all of them at the same time. So we heard the pedal steel played exquisitely by a guy named Bud Isaacs on this record, Slowly by Webb Pierce. And people who had been playing slide guitar, they heard this record and it's like, wait a minute, he's holding a chord. I hear that, and I'm hearing only a couple of strings move at the same time. That's not right. So it started this kind of like scramble. How
So
did
it
he do
moves the
that?
strings, the pedal.
Yes, when you press down on a pedal, it actually, there's a lever that pulls the string tighter, so it pulls it up in pitch. And this is how we get these crazy sounds. But very much like the human voice, right? It's very smooth, very languid, and that's why you listen to it to relax after your rants about Johnny Cash.
I find it very relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it very.
I love it.
It's summer. If the sun's setting, it's the best music that can be played. But okay,
The last time we were there, I went to the Luau with Orlando and Vanessa, and I wish I knew what the band that was there, because they were just like playing in the sunset back. That is like a memory that is lodged in my brain. It's just that band playing with the sun setting, and I had a drink, and I was like, this is awesome. This is living. It's so
Now, I'll
nice.
say that in my hometown of Yuma, Arizona, a lot of people...
shout out to Yuma.
Thank you so much. There's a lot of people, older people, go there during the winter.
Shout out to the old people in Yuma.
That's right, because of the weather. And and Bud Isaacs would spend his winters there, so I got to meet him and know him because he would hang out. The guy that played on that
Why would
original
he
record.
spend winter there? You like the snow?
No, because in Yuma it's extremely hot and dry all
So
the
you
time.
like the heat?
You know where Yuma is?
January,
No.
it's the southwestern corner of the state. It's
Yeah,
way
bottom
down
of
there.
Arizona. Yeah.
Way
Oh,
down
it's
there.
Arizona, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bloody hot in Arizona.
Very
There's
sweet
no-
man.
310 to
there's
Yuma.
no-
Or is it
there's
the 410?
snow down
No,
there.
310?
You got it.
310.
310.
Yeah. Like that.
Oh,
Man.
that's Crowy, isn't it?
Yeah, crows in there.
Yeah.
Actually, that's one of those. The remake is better than the original. That was an old, terrible western. in the
Never saw
50s
the
called
original. Yeah, yeah.
Don't bother.
Yeah,
the
it's
remake's a
Crow.
lot better.
It's Christian Bale,
Yeah, it's
Ben
great.
Foster.
That's good. It's really good.
Good cast.
Did anyone
the
notice
originals-
that they've brought out this on Hulu? This is just a little sidetrack. They've brought out like the movie Australia, the Baz Luhrmann movie Australia with Hugh
odd.
Jackman and Nicole Kidman, and all that sort of stuff. And then it was like a 6-part series. And I thought to myself, geez, it looks like the movie Australia, but I'll watch it because it's something different. This is a killer, Ben Mendelsohn and all this other stuff. I thought I'll watch this. And I watched it, and it starts off, and there's an actor on it that's been dead since 2011. And I'm like, hang on a minute. It turns out it's just the movie Australia because Baz Luhrmann had so much footage. He's like, hey, remember that movie that no one really liked that I made?
The writers and actors strike.
Yeah.
They're putting on.
So
they do that on Netflix. They're
I've
like,
got
new movie.
so much
Like,
extra footage.
Yep.
So how about we watch this?
He cut it and reordered it, right?
Exactly. I'd love to be in a Baz Luhrmann movie. If you want to do a movie that's just Elvis's last day, I'm your guy.
And you're going method, right? You're going method.
I'd be good.
Oh, he'll go method.
Yeah. I'll go. Oh, yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's the last day. A lot of it's on the toilet, right?
It's just him getting up, and you could do it. You could do it as a play on stage because he hasn't leave his room.
Yeah.
Give me another peanut butter and a jelly sandwich. Give me
Peanut butter, banana,
peanut
bacon, and honey.
bacon with fried sandwich. Oh, thank you very much. I got to go do another shit. Oh, it's not coming out. Oh, come on.
There's the foreshadowing right there.
Come on.
Where's my gun?
Somebody. Put on that guy that goes dum 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 dum. He'll help me shit.
All right, good segue. What was the outlaw movement, and who are some of the prominent artists?
The Highwaymen were Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson.
Are we redoing this show?
Yeah, but the Highwaymen were a different thing, right? Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson, and the bloke who sang the theme song from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Waylon Jennings.
Very good. Who also, incidentally, was one of the crickets for Buddy Holly. How is an Australian can't say the word cricket? How is it my whole life I can't say the word cricket all of a sudden?
That's great. So the outlaw movement was essentially a bunch of rebellious artists coming out of the late 60s. They were they wanted more artistic freedom than the Nashville establishment was allowing them. Waylon's a great example. He's doing records that Nashville and the producers wanted him to do with orchestration and background vocals, but he's on the road with just his guys doing this lean stuff, and it's killing. It's killing live. Then he goes to make a record, and they want to make these records that don't sound like him, and they don't sell well. So Willie Nelson, Jesse Coulter, there's certain artists that they want to do things their own way. And
Say it. Also.
And at that point, Johnny Cash... No, honestly,
hey guys, I've got a new gimmick. I'm gonna walk out and say hello, and then say my name next. I'll say hello, Johnny Cash, and people are like, that sounds stupid. I'll put an I'm in there.
It'll never work, Johnny.
No, the crowds are gonna go crazy. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. So it's not quite working. What if I wear a black shirt?
That's an adjustment.
Oh, I didn't know about all the showmanship, Johnny, you fucking loser.
Okay, so yes, Johnny Cash at this point has established country artists, but they're not serving him well. So he too kind of is part of this movement.
I need to ejaculate. Come and help me. No, it's past.
Small window.
That's what he used to call downstairs for June.
Now here's where you had some accuracy in your answer, though. By the way, you paused it when you mentioned
June had a small vein.
No, the legalization of weed.
Oh,
now, although it wasn't legal, one of the not talked about splits in Nashville in the 60s was Nashville's mostly a trucker speed town at the time. Everyone's on uppers. Artists. That was Johnny Cash's Jones, right? Was like speed pills and stuff.
What? So this was him on fucking working fast, was it?
No.
I've just taken some speed. I can talk slower for you if you like.
But
you know me, whiz, whiz, whiz.
There's no way around this. There's no way around this.
He really hates this guy.
But like Willie Nelson obviously was a weed smoker.
Willie's
Some of these guys were
like any guy who can rock some plaits.
Yeah.
Good on you.
You know what those mean?
No.
Yeah, like down the sides.
The braids.
Braids.
Oh,
you don't call them plaits? They call them plaits?
We call them braids.
Yeah.
When you're plaiting someone's hair.
I was trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah. Plats. So anyway, that's
pigtails.
That's the outlaw.
Not pigtails.
Eugene just wants to stop talking about that.
No.
You're not allowed to talk about Johnny Cash anymore.
No, you are. That's his thing.
This is my thing.
He's even wearing black.
I'm a man in black.
Yeah. What was Hee Haw? Jim said a type of chocolate milk competing against Yoo-Hoo.
Very wrong. It was an American TV show. It was a variety show. And it's
Disagree.
You can't just... And it was based on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. So it's just rapid-fire jokes all the time.
Yes.
Corny as hell. Just
really corny. I liked the show as a kid, though. It was
because
they did a segment called Cornfield, and it was corny jokes, and they'd pop out of a cornfield, say a corny joke, and go back down.
This thing ran from 1969 to 1992.
Yeah,
and it was syndicated everywhere, and it's where you would see, but they would have country music. It'd be lip sync, but you'd see country artists every week, right? So it's a very popular show, and it was hosted by the significant years were hosted by Buck Owens and Roy Clark, and it was known for its very corny humor, but and voluptuous, scantily clad women known as the.
Get us a photo up.
Yeah. I remember that they'd have like the tie, like the.
They were known as the Hee Haw.
I say. Country outfits.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one. That's the outfit.
Oh, you see the hee-haw, what they call the hee-haw honeys, yeah.
There was one the other day.
Was this the
Hee-haw
show?
honeys,
Wait,
yeah.
was this the show that had this for the spinoff for that sitcom, Mama's House?
No, that was a spinoff from the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
I thought she was in hee-haw, though. That
Oh, I'm
actress.
sure Vicki
yeah.
Lawrence show. I'm
So
sure
my
that
brain
character-
just like mashed that
No,
together. or
they
something.
bound to show
'Cause
up.
I think, no, because she had the hat with the tag.
You're thinking of Minnie Pearl.
Oh, God, yeah, Minnie Pearl. Yeah,
Minnie Pearl, who got her start
Minnie Pearl.
She a member of the Grand Old Opry. Now her real name, and I don't have it written down there. I remember her middle name was Ophelia. It's a lovely lady, born into a very wealthy family outside of Nashville. Her father owned a timber
Sarah
company.
Ophelia Colley Cannon.
There you go. And she wanted to be an actress, but she didn't. She wasn't a classic beauty, and so she kind of came up with this character that would talk about her hometown.
Yeah.
And she actually just kind of like picked up on people she was around and their stories, and she reflected it back with very, very self-deprecating humor. So of course that made her very, very accepted by the folks. But
Yeah, I liked her.
No, she's great. She was beloved by all.
Did you check him out, Jim?
No, I'm trying to find. There was 3 country western singers that were sisters that are coming up at the moment. Where I
The
thought,
Mandrell sisters.
Is that the one where it just slipped into it came into my feed, and I was like,
And you had to
no,
tell us.
the
Costellos.
the Costellos.
Oh, I'm not aware.
Google the Costellos for us.
Google the Costellos.
I think they're like 20-something TikTok sensations.
Oh, they're. I'm sorry. They're brand new. Okay.
yeah, brand
Gotcha.
new.
These 3 sisters up to no good.
Yeah. That's
They
no good.
seem like fine, upstanding women.
Oh no, they're very good. No, they're classy girls.
Yeah.
They don't slut it up or anything. They're good, the Costello girls. But it just showed up in my feed, like it just came through. Like you might like this, and I went, I don't like country music. And then I'm like, I do like blonde women and Daisy Dukes.
Yeah.
So you're halfway there.
Daisy Dukes. Okay, the Daisy Dukes, the plaid tied up thing.
That's what
and
the hee-haws.
and a pair of cow boots. Well done, country.
Yeah.
More than any other music genre. See, like I'm a rock guy, but the rock and roll girl with the black thing, it's not as fun as the Daisy Dukes. They're just the napkin. You know the one they're just
a piece of gingham.
They've just found a bit of gingham. Yeah, they've gone for it.
So the owner of an Italian restaurant going, what happened to all my...
The Castlewells have just been in here. We've lost all of our tablecloths.
What Buck Owens song was covered by the Beatles?
Not Kansas City.
That was a good guess, though.
A good one. That's a Wilbur Harris tune, although they're covering kind of, and a little bit of Little Richard mixing that one. No. Act Naturally was a big hit. It was a #1 hit for Buck Owens in 1964, and only a year later, the Beatles do it for the UK version of the Help album. Of course, Ringo sang it, and he did a great job of it. They adored Buck Owens.
He did a good job of it. It's one of the most average singing performances.
Wait, what song is Act Naturally?
They're gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me.
yeah.
They're gonna put me in the movies. All I have to do is act naturally.
Yeah, I know the song. Huh. All right. What is a nudie suit?
Nudie suit.
It's not a skin-colored suit. It's also not a condom, although I think we may have just invented a new...
Nudie suit, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. So nudie suit is a catch-all phrase that kind of describes all the really elaborate Western stage wear that country artists are known for wearing. So all the rhinestones and like we call the smile pockets. Kind of.
You guys have you guys have kept the bedazzling business. The bedazzler.
That's right.
It would have never even gotten onto QVC.
That's right.
If not for country people, bedazzling.
No dust gathers on our bedazzlers in my band. You could show my jacket.
Do you have a bedazzler on the two of us?
Come
on, you do.
Wait, you have a jacket? That's yeah.
And I'll see those stones flying throughout the show, and I was like, time to take it back because it's gonna have to
get a glue gun.
Put it back on.
Glue gun on
We've
the
done
bus.
some repairs on the road, but the reason they're called
bedazzler, they rivet on the back as well. It's not a glue gun. That's why you bedazzle.
Talk about a massive machine. It's pretty impressive.
The jacket's heavy, right?
Very heavy.
Yeah,
very heavy. So the reason they called nudie suits, there was a tailor here in LA called Nudie Cohn, and his real name was Nutya Kotlerenko. He was from Kiev, Russia originally. And 2 stories. One was
where the chicken's from.
Kiev chicken. That's right.
Very good. Kiev.
So kids in the neighborhood where he grew up in New York, they couldn't say Nutya, so they said Nudie. That's one of the stories of how he became known as Nudie Cohn. So he outfitted, he made famous outfits for a lot of folks. But there's a guy named Nathan Turk. He made the suits for Buck Owens. And we have a guy, but one of Nudie's apprentices, a guy named Jaime Castaneda, he's still on North Hollywood on Lancashire, and he does our clothing still. So
Australian dads, if you come out of the shower and you run into your room and you're nude, Australian dads will say to you, "Nudie Rudy."
Oh, that's
someone's Nudie Rudy.
Nudie Rudy.
Nudie Rudy.
That's what the answer.
I
said that earlier.
I saw you put Nudie Rudy. I thought,
oh no,
he said it.
Me. I still do it to my kids now. I got the 2-year-old. Well, sometimes 2-year-olds walk around with their dick out. Right? They just don't
sometimes.
Care. Yeah, they do. My one's figured out how to take his diapers off.
Yes.
Nappies for the Australians. I know I'm in a different country right now. Calm down. And he's figured out how to take it off, and then he'll just walk past you with his dick out, and you'll be like, "Nudie Rudy, nudie boy."
And this is how legacies continue.
Mm-hmm.
Or another one we call Nature Boy.
Nature Boy.
Nature Boy.
Yeah, I got a lot of pictures of me in the woods naked.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, his mother never took him to the woods, and he grew up in an only parent.
It says here you're gonna play some guitar for us.
Nah, not really.
Yeah, that's why there's an amplifier all set up from Fender.
Okay, well, if we get to that, should we do?
I looked over and I saw all those different pedals, and I went, "He's up to no good."
I think you play the guitar, then we'll do the dinner party fact.
Okay,
I
fine.
think it makes more sense.
All right,
that
fine.
way. Yeah.
Do we take a pause to get it hooked up and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to take a break.
Okay.
All right, we're back, everyone. We got the guitar set up. We're ready to go.
All right, so Jack mentioned bringing the guitar, just so a couple of different styles. So I was saying earlier, in the early days, in the 30s mostly, jazz was a big influence on country music, believe it or not. So you heard a lot of jazz voicings, and so a real classic. Those sorts of moves would be happening in country music, and a typical lead would. Those sorts of moves
Sounds
would be
like
happening.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh, yeah,
that does sound like
those guys are great,
Yeah.
actually. And well, Tom, who does the voice, he's a big country, especially Western swing music. Honky Tonk. He's a library unto himself.
You used to play with Tom.
Yeah, well, God, years ago. Yeah, exactly. So there was that. Now, talking about going into honky tonk music, when things got pared down, it was less jazzy, and you started hearing things.
Come out to our showroom. We're going to sell you a car. If you ain't got a car, we'll get you a car. If your car's shit, we'll trade in. We take any trade in here at Merv's Car Yard, where we do a deal for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, and then when we talk about Bakersfield, things got really bluesy. And again, usually this guitar, like a Telecaster, was a prime reason for that because Fender was based out here in California. So guys had more access to that as opposed to those big jazzy Gibson guitars out in Nashville. So a guy like Don Rich, who played for Buck Owens, he would play a real simple and bright style.
That's like Ticket to Ride almost, the first.
It's a real bright, shiny sound.
Yeah.
And of course, at least here in the States, the Beatles albums were all mastered at Capitol Records, same place where Buck Owens records were done, actually. So not a huge coincidence there. But George Harrison does a great job on the cover of Act Naturally. He tunes his guitar down a whole step, just like Don Rich did on the original. The Beatles are very precise on that cover and the certain moves, and George is doing his, of course I'm not in the right key, but... all those sorts of real basic blues moves in it, and it's very Bakersfield. So, and then now you have like tons of like 70s and 80s arena rock influences what's now modern country, which is fair game because again, country music is always combined.
What 80s and 70s arena rock?
I would say like things like riff rock, like Aerosmith and that stuff. You're gonna hear.
And that's in the country music.
Oh yeah, if you listen to modern country, a lot of distorted guitars, like hard crunchy guitars. I'll tell you, Shania Twain, who's one of the best-selling artists of all time, still in the 90s.
Doesn't impress me.
Her producer was a guy named Mutt Lange.
Right.
Mutt Lange.
Mutt Lange.
Ring a bell?
Mutt Lange.
Produced Back in Black by AC/DC.
Oh, okay.
And all the Def Leppard records of the 80s.
I don't know the producer.
So he brings that. I thought Mutt Lange was was Australian. Maybe not.
He might be, but that doesn't mean I know.
Sounds Australian.
But he brings those AC/DC and Def Leppard ethics to her stuff, and that, of course, it sold so well that we have a lot of like that kind of big kind of power chord. Like that sort of riff sort of thing is likely heard on modern country now, if you hear a guitar at all. Sometimes it's just not guitars happening at all. But the point is
there ever a horn section?
Not anymore. So this will go back to the Western swing days when you had Western swing bands. It was like, horns. Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys were like the big. He was known as the king of Western swing, and he had like an actual full blown horn section and stuff. And and it was just really exciting music, and it was again very jazz, a lot of swing. It was people just dancing in the ballroom. So. Why not?
Rockabilly is kind of like
right. So rockabilly is kind of like a real jacked up version of honky tonk music, and so this is where like Elvis Presley and one of your favorite artists, Johnny Cash, and Sun Records.
I'm Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash. Something about prison. I killed a man the other day. He was a friend, or so they say. He shot him dead. He didn't get up. So June came over, and I winked in her cup.
For some reason, your mustache looks more country than you're just thinking like this. Ridiculous.
God, I'm glad I brought the guitar.
It's awesome.
What a clip.
I mean, I just like listening to. I don't know how to play guitar, so
you have. I got to get you some lessons. I'll get you.
I can play a little bit, but not like. I mean,
that's what Forrest needs, a new hobby.
No. I take that back. I have a guitar and I can play guitar, but I mean, you're awesome. I'm just. If you hear me play, it's gonna be garbage.
I can play
Wish You Were
well
Here.
aware that he's a better guitar player than you. For all you listeners out there, I'm glad you haven't crashed your cars right now, but Forrest has opened up about how he isn't as good a guitar player.
I enjoyed just watching it. I can sit there all day. But all right, we'll do the dinner party fact now. You know what this is, everybody. This is when an expert gives us a fact, something obscure, interesting the audience can use to impress people about this subject. What do you got for us?
Which future country music artist witnessed one of Johnny Cash's San Quentin concerts firsthand as an inmate?
Which current?
Well, no. Well, he's passed. The answer has this man's passed away, but
so he saw Johnny Cash in San Quentin.
In San Quentin.
Saying?
While an inmate. And then he became a country star on his own.
I think I know this. Michael Jackson.
So close.
What?
Yeah.
I think he was still in the Gary Strip at the time. Yeah. No, while at San Quentin, a 21-year-old Merle Haggard was there at San Quentin and witnessed one of Johnny's performances, and that was one of the things that helped him kind of turn things around and said, "Oh yeah, maybe I should do that when I get out of here."
Yeah, rather than what was he in prison for?
He tried armed robbery. He tried to rob a roadhouse, and I don't even think he succeeded, but he did get caught. And then what was worse was then he tried to escape from prison, and that's why they shipped him up to San Quentin for a more severe sentence.
And so he started playing music in prison?
Yeah, he was playing music before that in Bakersfield. He grew up in Bakersfield, Merle Haggard did.
Yeah, okay.
And, but, he was kind of went a little wayward there and was getting in a lot of trouble, ended up in jail. But he had some bad experiences while in jail, just in terms of someone he got to know really well, tried to escape and then was just put on death row. And the woman to whom he was married and already had a kid, she ended up having someone else's kid while he was still on the inside, and it just sort of.
Have you watched that? I really enjoyed that show.
The Mike Judge.
Tales from the Road. Tales from the Tour Bus or whatever.
It's tremendous. Yeah, it's and if I may, I don't know if I can plug another.
Plug whatever you want, yeah.
There's a podcast called Cocaine and Rhinestones that kind of goes into the real detailed stories about a lot of these legends and things. And it tries to set the record straight, but when the guy doesn't know the answers, he'll say, I don't know the answers. But really, really in-depth stuff. And there's a lot of tragic stories, a lot of wayward behaviors by a lot of country artists. It's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, that one's called what? Diamonds and Rhinestones?
Cocaine and Rhinestones.
Cocaine and Rhinestones, yeah. Tales from the Tour Bus is the one you were talking about.
But Tales from the Tour Bus
that one's
great.
really good.
Johnny Paycheck. We didn't even mention him.
Wonderful singer. Wonderful singer.
Madman.
Yeah, but you know, but he'd been singing for a very long time, and he could sing like real traditional stuff and had a beautiful voice. It's odd that Take This Job and Shove It was this big national hit. It kind of crossed all genres, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, thanks for being here again, Eugene Edwards. You can find. Let me go back up there. You can find him on IG and Twitter at Eugene Edwards 25, on Facebook Eugene Edwards. He's also got a podcast, The Know It All Hour, and also hosts the streaming Eugene and Dylan Guitar Show. Yep. And if you see Dwight Yoakam playing somewhere, buy a ticket. You'll see him playing with him. Thanks for being here.
I hope we haven't used all your expertise, so we can have you back on the show.
I would love to come back.
All right, well, we'll figure something out.
I've got plenty more.
All right.
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever at a party and someone comes up to you and they say, "Hey, John Denver's not country," you go, "Well, I don't know about that."
Light him on fire.
And walk away.
Light him on fire.
Good night, Australia.